Hey, everybody, welcome to West Virginia Wire. Buckle up, folks. We're diving straight into the X-Files today. This episode is packed with wild stories pulled straight from my X account, Bookmarks. And I have my ChatGPT open source AI co-host with me today. Mary Beth, why don't you say hello to everyone?
Hey everyone, Mary Beth here, ready to dive into these intriguing stories with you all. Let's get started and unpack what's in store from Regina's X-Files.
Let's do. Do you remember what we're talking about?
Absolutely. We're covering two big stories today. Bill Gates' massive pledge to give away 99% of his wealth through his foundation, and a wild road rage incident in Austin, Texas, where a driver attacked a mum of four on the highway. We're pulling these straight from your X account bookmarks and diving into all the details. Ready to jump in?
Absolutely. Let's jump in. Are we going feet first or face first today, my lady?
Let's go feet first and make a splash. Ready when you are, Regina.
Let's do, my lady.
All right, diving right in.
All right, you
First
guys,
up,
sorry
let's-
about that. So we're in my bookmarks on the X platform, and we're looking at Defiant L's post, and it reads, woman starts kicking and trying to open the door of a mom with kids in the middle of traffic. What is wrong with people? And I couldn't agree more. What is wrong with people? So you guys, let's check this video out and see what is wrong with this woman and why she would feel compelled to behave this way.
Hey, man. Bad people. Bad people. First time I've seen a Karen. Get their license plate if you can. Like, write it down. Okay.
Disclaimer, she does get the license plate, and I took a screenshot of it. Why? It doesn't even matter the why of it. That's ridiculous to behave that way.
I feel like I'm having a mini heart attack. I don't know. Oh, and she took off the part for the gas. She took off the part for the gas. All right. 8065. I got it. 8065. I got it. Hold it.
In 1 mile, turn right onto Camino Vaquero Parkway. Right, turn right onto South I-35 Frontage Road.
Video the whole thing.
All right, now keep watching what this car does, because it doesn't end there, which is crazy.
I'm trying.
Look at those babies. I bet they're petrified.
In 1 mile, turn right onto Camino Vaquero Parkway.
Watch. Look back in the rear view. Here we go. Here comes the culprit again.
Black car behind us? Yes. Oh, God. Okay.
Oh.
Yes. Ready? Yeah, hold on. Oh.
How many babies in the car? 4? 1, 2, 3, 4. Yep.
Oh, Karen's not that we're recording her. Oh. Can we lose her? You didn't?
Look at this. That's egregious
Can we call someone?
on every level. She's trying to.
Right.
Mama can only do so much while she's driving. Good job, Mama. Good job. So I believe it was timestamp 107. Here we go. 107 is the best shot right there. So I'm going to do another screenshot, you guys. And somebody said that it might even be a rental car, something like that. And it could be. Rental car companies do have records. So my prayer is that they do find these ladies, and I can't even call them ladies to behave that way. That's just crazy. Literally crazy, pun intended, all of it. So let's continue on. And I will say that in the comment section, people were amazing with the stuff that they come up with with the stuff that they came up with. So Ryan Lynch wrote, I figured out where it took place. Looks like it was within the city of Austin, although on the far south edge of town. if it's within the city of Austin jurisdiction, then I probably know a couple of the cops whose beat that is at Grok. Any information on this? So I did attach the license plate screenshots. So, and this is where Double Creek Village in the Austin area. So this is amazing. So this is your internet sleuths that work for you, you guys. And I will remind you guys that most of these people do not hold a formal degree or anything of that nature. And while a degree is great, you know, going to college does show dedication and all of that. You know, I don't know what to say about it these days. All right, let's continue on, see what else is in the X file. All right, you guys. So when things come across my feed, like certain news publications, whatever, things that kind of, you know, strike my interest, I'll either email it to myself, like throw it in my bookmarks, so that I can easily access it later on. And this is one of the things that definitely struck my interest. This is some statements that Bill Gates is making. And we all know what Bill Gates has been known to do in the past. I will attach some content along with this video showing you some, you know, the rabbit hole things that Bill Gates is connected to, where we'll be within a certain time frame. So, so Bill Gates, quote, Doge will cost 2 million lives. Well, that's a pretty bold statement. So let's see what Mr. Bill Gates has to say.
Now with these cuts, if they're not reversed, we'll go to over 6 million dying. So instead of going down, we'll go back up.
Wow. So it's a difference of 2 million lives.
Absolutely. Now with these cuts, if they're not reversed, we'll go to over 6 million dying. So instead of going down, we'll go back up.
Wow. So it's a difference of 2 million lives.
Absolutely. Now with these cuts,
all right, guys. So what I'd like to do to get further context is we're going to go into the comments section and kind of see what people are saying, because I'd like to know where the original post or where the original, it tells us right there, Bill Gates ramps up giving. Billionaire pledges to give away 99% of his wealth through foundation. Okay, well, that's cool. He's going to do it through a foundation, but what are the parameters of the foundation, right? What are the regulations of it? What sanctions are on it? What criteria does one have to meet in order to be a part of the foundation or on its board, or even I don't know what you would call it. Let's continue on. An investor, maybe?
Before I came to Rome, I sat down with Bill Gates for an exclusive interview where the billionaire revealed he is giving away 99% of his money. And he says his charitable Gates Foundation will undergo a major change that will result in shutting down by 2045. His organization, of course, is devoted to fighting poverty, disease, and inequity, and is now, as a result of today's announcement, doubling its spending on those causes to $200 billion over the next 20 years. We had to begin with the question you may be asking: why now?
By deciding to spend all this money in the next 20 years, we can get a lot more done.
The original plan for the Gates Foundation, established and funded by Bill and Melinda Gates and backed by additional billions from Warren Buffett, was to keep the doors open and the dollars flowing for 2 decades after Bill's death. Instead, as of today's announcement, the plan is to give away virtually all of my wealth, Bill writes, over the next 20 years. And if you couldn't guess, we're talking about a lot of wealth.
I'm super excited that that'll be over 200 billion that we'll give away during that time period, and that we'll be able to save tens of millions of lives.
And you're not going to miss it.
Okay, first, I'd just like to say, you guys, that not every dollar is a good dollar. Not every dollar is a good dollar. Remember that. So let's see if he answers any of the questions that I've posed. You know, what does one have to do in order to get this money? Is he trying to combat what Elon Musk was doing? And it seems to me he just wants to just give people money. What is he incentivizing them to do for these grants, money, whatever? Well, let's let him tell us.
No, I won't, you know. I hope I'm still alive when we finish the 20 years, but I'll save a little bit to be able to buy hamburgers as much as I need.
The 100 billion.
So what's his idea of a little bit? I always ask that question. I'll be there in a little bit. Well, what does that mean in your world? A little bit, what is a little bit? What is a lot? Can you give a measurement?
$1 billion the foundation has already spent since 2000 has helped cut the rate of death among children under 5 in half.
This is a Philips ultrasound.
Thanks in part to its investments in new technologies, like the ones he showed us at his offices in Palm Desert, California.
What are you proudest of?
Well, the work in vaccines would be the top of the list because at the turn of the century,
Offices in Palm Desert, California.
What are you proudest of?
Well, the work in vaccines would be the top of the list because at the turn.
What are you proudest of?
Well, the work in vaccines would be the top of the list.
The ones he showed us at his offices in Palm Desert, California.
What are you proudest of?
Well, the work in vaccines would be the top of the list because at the turn of the century, kids weren't getting vaccines for diarrhea and pneumonia, and that's now saved millions and millions of lives.
Wait, did he just say vaccines for diarrhea? Now, pneumonia, vaccines for diarrhea? Vaccines for diarrhea? Okay, I'm not sure I understand that, but okay.
So it's a simple little vial like this one.
Portable coolers and go-anywhere drones help deliver those vials where they're needed. But Gates now worries fewer people will be getting them, not because of the distances, but because of the governments involved.
It looks like we'll be able to raise less money now than we did in the past because the U.S. at least is tentatively not supporting buying those vaccines, and other countries in Europe that have always been substantially more generous are also cutting back.
It sounds like in part you're doing this because you're looking at the world and you're looking at this country and they're doing less. So the Gates Foundation and other foundations need to do more.
Well, you always want more money going into these things where you're saving lives for a few $1,000s. And I'll be an advocate that when President Bush created a lot of these programs for HIV, malaria, and some other things, and so it's a great discussion. Since then, some of the programs have been cut off, and I'm hoping both with the president or the Congress to get them to restore some of those aid activities.
If they don't, is the Gates Foundation large enough to take the place of what the government had been doing?
No. So their money for global health was 4 times what the Gates Foundation.
So if this
gives.
money goes away, and you were talking about millions of lives saved, can you put a number on the lives potentially lost?
Yeah, absolutely. So we should be going from 5 million children dying a year over the next 5 years to 4 million. And now with these cuts, if they're not reversed, we'll go to over 6 million dying. So instead of going down, we'll go back up.
Wow. So it's a difference of 2 million lives.
Absolutely.
Well, I'd say so at 70 years old. All right, guys, that's all I got on Mr. Bill Gates. So let's run back over here to the X platform and just kind of scroll a little bit to see some of the stuff. Let's see. This is just a review of the month of May. Bill Gates is panicking because Doge exposes his total scam. I'd have to agree. Now he's saying he's going to give all of his money away. So good for you, Bill Gates, if that's what you want to do. So when a guy has enough money to end world hunger, end poverty, regenerate the soil, and clean the oceans, instead chooses to pump his money into GMO mosquitoes, blocking out the sun, creating fake meat, most importantly, producing toxic vaccines for 7 billion people, you have to ask yourself why. And I will say this is from the Vault, great post, and I will concur with that. And on that note, we're going to end today. Thank you for joining us. My name is Regina Connell. This is West Virginia Wire. You guys, thanks for hanging with us. We'll see you on the flip flop.